Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Dumb Ass Film Students, where us young filmmakers and those alike we come together and we shit on people's films or congratulate them based off how we feel. Our opinions are irrelevant and nobody cares, and we know that coming into this, so that's why we do this show, so that whoever happens to care will eventually listen to it. But for Jesus Christ, Daryl. But for the ones who already don't, who are in Hollywood, who are already doing better than us, feel free to not pay attention to us. My name is Rudy Wilson. Got my boy Lonnie Cox in the building. Excuse me. D.A. Henry, Daryl.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Can you guys hear me? That's why I was making sure that you guys can hear me, because last time.
Gotcha. Yeah, we can hear you. Just don't lean back. As long as you sit there or come forward, you good. But if you
as long as I'm doing this.
Yeah, if you lean back and try to get comfortable, it's gonna be a wrap.
Hey, Lonnie, you definitely do your mustache like that. That would be nice.
Yeah, I used to do it. I would do it. My mask keeps messing it up.
Really?
And there's no reason to,
I don't.
Especially right now. Yeah.
I don't have the oils or gels to properly grow mine, so that's why I only got this.
My oils and gels are just called genetics.
Right, I was about to say. Yeah, I was going to say I don't. No, there's not a.
It's not going to stay there. You gotta style it.
I sacrificed the hair up here.
You gotta style it so it stays up. You gotta use the oil.
Yeah, I have it. I've got the mustache brush here. I've got the wax and all that stuff around here somewhere.
DA, you should use somebody's beard oil who like swears by it, because you would be the true testament if it really works. Because like a lot of times people who already can grow a beard use beard oil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, yeah, I think it may like moisturize or whatever, but I don't know if it's really like making a place where hair doesn't grow. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's not what it's about. Like honestly, beard oil and stuff like that is basically just like shampoo and conditioner for your beard, but it's not going to help it grow or anything.
Listen to me. It is some black people out here who are selling beard oils that you use drops and stuff like that, that are telling you use this, it's going to help your beard grow more than it would without it, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And what I'm saying is that I think being because like DA don't got a shape up. That's him without a shape up. That's him. That's his 5 o'clock shadow. That's it. You feel what I'm saying? So if he got the beard thing, that probably and it actually worked, then you can vouch for that person. But if you use it and you still look like that, then I think we would know. It's a little Miss Cleo situation going on.
Rudy, you used to have a pretty big beard. When I met you, your beard was pretty big.
Yeah. I just I cut it, and I'm just doing like the lower thirds right now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. It's a little more comfortable. It gets a lot sometimes when you got just the full. You know what I'm saying, and then
I don't grow up here. I always wanted that. I'm always jealous of the guys that have the high cheek thing. Yeah,
gotcha. But see, I always, to your point, I always wanted it to grow more like down. Like for me, like mine will grow out here or whatever like that, and they kind of go here, but it doesn't really have that like downward. Like if I shave this down or whatever, it'll just be and it'll round off. It's like it doesn't really like grow long.
Oh well, here. I cut it like this. I mean, but
mine still doesn't grow that long here.
Oh,
it doesn't grow down like that. It just kind of just grows out to like a good little fro, and that's just pretty much
right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not going. I don't have that type of love. So, and DA, you're not in this conversation.
No, my problem is my family. I have so on my mother's side, they're all pretty much baby faced. My grandfather, he barely had a mustache, really.
Yeah.
On my dad's side, he has a beard and whatnot, but it's not like super long. It actually does the whole thing what Lonnie has, or it grows down, what you were talking about. But so basically, he's hairy, and different parts of my body is hairy, but not my face.
We actually get our genetics, our hair from your mom's side. Oh. So that's why I'm bald on top. My dad has like hair down his back. 65 years old.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So okay. That's probably why I won't be. That's probably why it takes so long to grow in my beard hair, because my grandfather literally never had a beard. He barely got like a 5 o'clock shadow.
Well, first of all, I think you should change the narrative of saying that that's why it's taking you so long to grow it, because
it's growing.
You're 25, bro. You're pretty much
It's
you're
growing.
pretty much at where you're going to be. I just want to let you know that. I don't know if you know how this works. Like your grandfather looked just like you at 25. He did it, and he maintained it until he was old. Like this is it. This is what I'm saying.
This is it.
Yeah,
This is what I have to offer.
or unless the beard oil works. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe since you're hairy in other places of your body, you can get like a little transplant.
If anyone wants to know what really grows your hair, if anyone's watching this podcast and gives a shit, what really grows your hair is collagen powder. Like if you drink collagen and you're ingesting collagen, that will help your hair and your fingernails grow a lot faster. But I don't know anything about beard oils or anything like that. Beard oils just like kind of moisturize your face. I don't really like beard oils because it's oily, and I don't like that on my skin.
I was gonna try out this one. Because I did look up because Shania wants me to have like the whole beard and whatnot.
She's like, grow the fuck up, nigga. Damn.
Basically. And so I did look up some options, and there's this black company called Alexander or something like that, and they do the whole, starter kit of trying to get your beard to grow and whatnot. So
collagen, working out. Anything you can do to like get yourself more testosterone, anything like that's going to help you grow hair.
And
I'm pretty sure all the sea moss lovers would say sea moss would help you grow it. I'm sure.
There's some supplements you can do, but like honestly, all you're doing is you're just trying to like influence natural growth. Like your body's not going to grow hair. It's not going to grow. It wouldn't grow normally, but you can like do things to help it. It along. Like I've been inside, I haven't been working out a lot, so my beard hasn't been growing as fast as it did last year or 2 years ago. So there's things that influence it,
Right.
You know what? It's just I might just stick with crying at night, because it just doesn't grow.
Because you don't have a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the good thing about it is you can let the cheek go the tear go all the way down the cheek because the beard's not gonna stop it. Like it's gonna be a smooth surface. That works.
You know what?
All right, man.
At least I have hair on my chest, so that satisfies Shania.
Well, that's gross. I mean, that's
I got plenty of that.
That's just too much.
All right. I have hair everywhere except the fucking top of my head.
Yeah.
It's usually how it works, man. All right, man. Let's get into these movies, man. For the record, or I should say, to your credit, BA, you did vouch for Jojo Rabbit and say that it was not technically a war movie, and in comparison to the other two,
yes,
it wasn't. But at the same time, I don't think it wasn't like unfitting. Like it worked.
No,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But to your credit, you did kind of like try to, whatever.
So it is very much a like war movie, but it's not a like action war.
Correct. In reference to, like I said, like because I had never seen The Hurt Locker, and then it's been a minute since I've seen Tears of the Sun, so I just forgot or didn't know how, like I said, it was gonna be more violence compared to like what Jojo Rabbit was. So, but nonetheless, it works. So. We're gonna go in this order: Tears of the Sun, Jojo Rabbit, and then The Hurt Locker last. So shout out to all the filmmakers.
Wait. Do you go in order of how you like which movies you like best? Is that the
No,
order?
I literally just pick at random every time. Because I have my list of like the movies, when I look up the budgets and stuff, and so I have the director's name. So I literally just whatever movie I remember that we looking up that we watching, I'll type that name in first, and I'll do all the searches for it, and I remember the next. I just do whatever order comes to my mind. There's really no rhyme or reason. I just throw it up there.
Throw it at the wall. Whatever sticks.
My phone's ringing somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Oh, okay. All right, cool. So Tears of the Sun. Oh, so I'm saying shout out to all the filmmakers, everybody who's involved in these films. Congratulations, you got the work done. You're the real heroes. This is just our observations. Tears of the Sun, 2003 film. Director Antoine Fuqua, which I didn't know. I didn't know he filmed this, which pretty dope. Starring Bruce Willis and Monica, is it Bellucci?
Yeah.
And a host of others. And yeah, so let's go ahead and vote. And we already know the thumb rule. So let's do it, man. On the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Cool beans. Daryl, you go first. Help me understand.
All right, so
are you being controversial, or you really don't like it?
There are things I like about it, and to your point, Rudy, of earlier conversations in different episodes, I can see why someone in the military would like this movie, or into action films would like this movie. It just wasn't like really sticking with me. I was just watching it.
Before you keep going, I just want to let you know, I seen this before I joined the military and after, and my experience had nothing to do with me liking this movie. Okay. Now, in reference to more or less the Hurt Locker, yes, but this one, no. This was just completely I just liked it. But go ahead.
So in watching the movie, I was sitting there and I'm watching it, and I just kept feeling like this movie is a little racist. Okay, I felt like this was the white savior, Bruce Willis, white savior, going into Africa to save some lowly little Africans from their destroying themselves, and then because I mean the whole thing is why did they need to go get her? I don't think that was a good enough reason to go to Africa, just because she was an American, unless I misunderstood something. But they could have just made it so simple where he was trying to go save the king, the new king, the new heir, or the heir to the throne, and then all this shit was happening. But they made it super complicated where the bitch didn't trust him. Sorry for calling her a bitch, but she was definitely a bitch the whole movie. And it just, like I said, it just was not resonating with me. I felt like my biggest problem was the fact that, one, Bruce Willis, I didn't feel like Bruce Willis was giving his all. Two, Bruce Willis was this white savior to these people.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I didn't feel like he was giving his all.
So you thought Bruce Willis had a bad performance?
I didn't think he had a trashy performance. It wasn't like trashy Bruce Willis. It was like Bruce Willis saying that, like, all right, whatever. I'll do this because I owe somebody a favor,
You think this was a money grab?
I don't even think it was a money grab.
Literally just a favor.
It was a favor. Like, I owed somebody, and all right, I'll keep up.
Well, you know what is funny is that DA is actually right. Bruce Willis did this movie so that he could get the rights to the new Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard. So he actually, you're not wrong, DA. He did do this movie as a I don't remember the exact deal of it, but I do know that this movie had something to do with the new Die Hard. Because I know that Tears of the Sun was supposed to be the title of the next Die Hard.
But do you agree that it affected his performance, Lonnie?
No, the thing is Bruce Willis is not a great actor. Like, Bruce Willis is not, he's not a fucking
Bruce Willis that I've seen in other movies. This is not the Bruce Willis from Die Hard, Fifth Elements, what is that movie called? The Sixth Sense.
Sure, I mean, but I don't know if that's necessarily him or the limitations of the script. This movie is not like character based. We're not watching this movie for performances and stuff like that. I do think that Bruce Willis played an older Navy SEAL commander pretty good. Like, I don't know a lot of older Navy SEALs. I've met a couple in my life, but I don't know, I think it was pretty good, in terms of Bruce Willis, especially Bruce Willis's films that he's been doing recently. Mm-hmm. This is definitely better than some of the new Bruce Willis movies were. Definitely.
What's some of his newer ones?
Because Red was actually a great movie.
Red is okay. Red was all right. But he's done he did the new Death Wish. He did, he's done these movies. They're on Netflix.
Looper? You did Looper.
Looper was good. I liked Looper. That was also a good movie. But he's no Leonardo DiCaprio. It's Bruce Willis. This is what he does. He's an action star.
I think he's a good action star too. When he does action stuff, it's very believable. You don't think that that's not him.
You guys are fucking kidding. And to make matters worse, this is why I definitely say this was a movie to make white people feel good. Sorry, Lonnie, but this is a movie to make white people feel good. about going to save little Africans in Africa. Because at the end of the movie, when the war is all said and done, they come out the smoke, barely making it, like, we saved you guys. We're your heroes. And then the little, I forgot her name, Lena. Lena is going through. She didn't. There was a moment in there. I wish we can show, but there was a moment in there where she didn't. It looked like she didn't even want to kiss the little African kids at the end of the movie. This was my biggest problem with it, and I guess so I was watching it, and I'm like, I'm having these feelings towards it, and then I find out that this Antoine directed it, and I was confused. I was like, did he sell out?
Well, I don't really know how you made it such a racist thing. I mean, I kind of get like the like for me, I don't even think it was necessarily like a racist thing in the sense of white or black. I think it was more of a continental thing in the sense of American African. You know what I'm saying? Because like now, if I were to compare myself to like my army experience, granted, I never deployed or nothing like that, so I never been like in like a war situation. But while I was watching this movie this time, I remember thinking to myself, like if I was these soldiers, I would want to just get this doctor and get the fuck out of here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because like, and this is, and I'm going off of how I really felt about being in the military. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, like I wasn't necessarily trying to die for the country. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was going to be killed, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if like that would be the one that I would want to do it. So then on top of that, now I got to be even more selfless and die for not even somebody else's country, like just a few people who, no, but what I'm saying is, but in comparison to how big Africa is, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a small piece that like, if you're selfish enough, you could be like what if I wasn't here? Then what would y'all do? You know what I'm saying? Like you could take that mindset. You could easily be like, yo, ain't nobody gonna miss these people. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's gonna know this happened. But they really had a human moment, not so much, oh, we're white and they're black. It's a moment of like, yo, man, like not only we can't leave these people here, but we also trick these people. Like we literally just let these people walk all this way, struggling, limping, all this stuff. And we just gonna really, you know what I'm saying? Like that's fucked up. Like it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It goes even to what Dave Chappelle talked about recently about the whole, I'm sorry, real quick, Lonnie, when he talked about with the whole like Comedy Central and Netflix or whatever, when he was saying like, yes, by contract, you're technically correct, but what you're doing is still morally wrong. You know what I'm saying? So like if they would have left with just the doctor, they would have not been they would have been heroes. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been anything because that was the assignment. But like Bruce Willis said, which I think the one of the two greatest lines for him was one when he first got asked, you know, like what's going on or whatever like that. He was like, when I figured out, I'll let you know. And then when he mentioned like I went, you know, I went against myself and I gave a fuck or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I do some, you know, so like that right there showed like we are really the only hope these people have. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't do something like, and you know what I'm saying? Like we're skilled at this. You know what I'm saying? Like we can whatever. Like we leave these people here, they're gonna be fucked up. And then especially after they saw the whole little shit burned up when they was on the helicopter, he was like, yeah, man, we can't just, you know what I'm saying? The human in us can't let this ride. And that's why my closing argument, that's why all the way through the rest of the movie, even with the people who died, it was all about like protecting them. Like they, first of all, they respected Bruce Willis, but also like even when the one dude got shot, when they were like in the forest or whatever like that, like he crawled on top of the black lady who he was trying to save. Because the point that they were trying to get across is like they had, when he was saying like the mission stays the same, like they thought the mission changed because they're now trying to save more people, whatever like that. But like we're still going to like, you know, save this woman, but we just now have just added to what the mission is type of thing. Like we're still going to be, we have to, you know, we have to fight just that much harder for an even greater cause outside of the orders that we were given to even come here in the first place. So to me, I thought that all around made a war story or action story really, really dope because it wasn't just about the story of combat, it was you know what I'm saying, it was a human story. It really, you know, it really showed.
You know, I love the scene, Rudy, where they're all like arguing about it. All the Navy SEALs are trying to like figure it out, and then basically what happens is one of the guys is like, I'm gonna do what you want, Chief. Like, you're the chief, you're gonna give the orders,
right,
and we'll follow you. It doesn't really matter what we think.
Right.
You know,
right.
we're in the military, you're the boss, and what you say goes. And you know, you guys are talking about like, oh, are we gonna die for the country? Are we gonna die for these people? You know, I've read hundreds of military books in my life, watched thousands of movies. And one thing that always sticks with me is one thing that'll say, like, especially in Black Hawk Down, you know, there's a line where the Delta Force guy it's at the end of the movie. And he says, you know, once the first bullet goes past your head, all that patriotism, mission statement shit, it goes out the window. Like it doesn't exist anymore. What you're doing is you're fighting for your friends.
Right.
You're fighting for the people that are with you, that are next to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter like where we are, what we're doing, what the mission is. You're here. We're here. We're doing it. You know, some context to remember with this movie is, so this movie came out in 2003. We had not invaded Iraq yet. So, you know, all of this, the American military was basically looking for its next bad guy, right? We didn't have one, right? We didn't have the so a lot, I don't know if you guys remember, but like at that point in our lives, like we were looking at Africa as like the next place that we were going to like go in and start saving people. So DA, you're absolutely right that the like American military was absolutely being the like, you know, the police of the world, and they were going to go in. Now, is it wrong? Like, is that a bad thing necessarily? Like, I was actually just watching an episode of the West Wing last night, and they're talking about this exact thing, going into Africa and having American soldiers die to prevent genocide. And a lot of the people are like, no, we're not going to do that. And some guy said, like, he's like, we're not the police of the world. We shouldn't be using our military strength to right injustices. And one Jewish guy in the back goes, well, maybe if we would have been the police of the world in the 1930s, I'd have a lot more relatives today. And that was like, oh, you know, that's a good point.
Right.
So, I mean,
holy shit.
Yeah, like our Black African lives valued less than white European life. You know, it's like it really is this great question of asking, like, why aren't we in Africa? Why aren't we saving people? And to answer your question, DA, we do. This happens pretty often. It actually just happened a couple weeks ago that it was either, I believe it was Navy SEALs went to Africa and saved a bunch of people from a hostage situation. So this does happen. What doesn't happen is you're not ever really going to have 6 guys go toe to toe with an entire battalion of soldiers and like any of them survive. Huh?
They said in the movie it was 300 people.
So 300 people. So 2 companies of soldiers against 6. Is it feasible? Maybe. But you're seeing in movies like, you know, in real life, like in Africa a couple years ago, 3 Green Berets were killed by about 15 African soldiers. So, you know, this whole idea of like, you know, we're Navy SEALs, so we can just fight and fight and fight. The reason that Navy SEALs are so powerful is because they have the entire might of the United States Air Force and the United States Navy that are able to like call in airstrikes and call in naval bombardments. 6 guys are almost always going to die facing larger numbers. That's just a reality. It doesn't matter who you are.
But
now,
so yes, this movie is definitely, it takes some liberties. My cousin, I think we've talked about this. My cousin did that job of the guy that has the computer with the thermal imaging. And he's like, here's where the guys were last night. Here's where they are now. My cousin did that. My cousin was deployed with Green Berets. And that was his job. He was the thermal imaging specialist. He was assigned with an ODA and places that he still can't tell me where he went. And that was his job. So, you know, when I was 13 years old watching this movie, I've told you guys before that this is what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be in this kind of job. So this movie to a 13-year-old me with my cousin that did it, I fucking love this movie. Bruce Willis, I love Die Hard.
Right.
You know, the guy with the tattoo on the neck, you're never going to see that. Rudy can attest to that. You're never going to see that.
Yeah.
But that guy was a badass.
Especially not back then.
Right.
They
you're never going to have. And in the Navy,
but all of the military has loosened up with the tattoo restrictions. Yes. But definitely not back then. Like, it would definitely be way more unlikely back then. Like, way.
And also, even still, Rudy, like, you can't have anything that you can't cover up with your uniform now. So nothing on your hands and nothing on your neck or face.
But I know people who have, like, and when I say a neck tattoo, it wasn't no bigger than his, but it was like one solid thing. But like, it's like in the back of their neck. You know what I'm saying? It was a female, okay. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen one or two have some way somehow get away with it, but
sure.
But it's not. But you're correct. Definitely no hands, neck, stuff like that. Like they just pretty much took it from the elbow and just let you get like the full sleeve down to the wrist.
Right. Yeah.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Can you guys explain to me the actual divisions? Because I thought the Navy was strictly, you know.
What do you mean? The Navy SEALs? Yeah, the Navy SEALs is like a special unit.
So
like
Navy SEAL, like SEAL, actually stands for sea, air, and land. That's what that word Navy SEAL. Huh?
And what are the Marines?
Well, I can like explain to you.
Marines
so you have like Marines, which are like infantry units. That's like normal, regular soldiers. They do have special forces. They're called Marine Raiders.
But the Marines are actually a part of the Navy.
Oh, they're actually a part of the Navy itself. So you have the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force. All four of those branches all have their special forces units. Like this they all specialize in kind of different things. Navy SEALs are they're known for what's called direct action, which is like they're not going to like come in and occupy a place. They're going to come in, kill whoever they need to kill, save whoever they need to save, and leave. They're not like doing any occupying anything like that. Like they're the guys that killed Osama bin Laden. You know, they fly them in, they come in, they kill people, and they leave.
Right.
So, you know, the Army has their version of that. They're called Delta Force. Then Marines have their version of it. So Navy SEALs are basically so like DA, to answer your question, you saw how the Africans, they had right? That would be like our version of the Marines, where you have hundreds of guys that are, you know, operating in one specific zone. And then you have Navy SEALs, which is like 8 or 30 at the most. You know what I mean? But they're called direct action special forces units, which is, again, what I wanted to do when I was a kid.
Well, no offense, Lonnie. I will have to listen to this because Shania had her AirPods.
Yeah, I'm about to say I knew you was having sound problems. I knew he didn't hear nothing that you were saying. Yeah, it's all good. Either way, this movie was good.
I liked it. Yeah, I give it about a 7 or an 8. I like this movie a lot, and a lot of that's nostalgic, to be honest.
For sure. I thought even like it was shot well. They had some real good shots with like insert shots with like, you know, of like one of the big elephant ear leaf petals with the rain coming down, you know, type you know, even like the action, like when they were getting like the bombs or whatever, the over the shoulders missile at them, they were like running and shooting. Like the war seemed real, like the explosions around them as they're shooting, like all of that seemed very, very, you know, realistic. Like it was
whoever was their, like, you know, their military consultant knew what they were doing. A lot of this movie is like, you know, the way that the Navy SEALs would, like, you know, they would shoot while other guys are running behind them. That's called bound and cover. Like Navy SEAls are perfect at that. That's what they do.
Yeah. We learned. You learned that in the Army as well. Cause I remember we learned that drill in basic training. Like as y'all are like, I forgot what they call it. It was fleeing left or right or whatever it was. But you're like, you shooting when it's your turn to leave. You tap the shoulder of your partner, keep going. Yeah. I thought that was nothing to your credit, but go ahead, Don. I'm done.
And it's just this movie was definitely well done, and it asks a lot of like human questions. I think that most war movies don't really get into.
Right.
You know,
I feel like
there's that scene in the beginning where they first rescue all the people and they're hiding in the jungle, and the baby starts crying.
Right.
That's like my dad used to talk about that. And my cousin talked about it too. That's like one of those questions of like, what do you do in that situation? Right? You've got 100 people that you're trying to save, and a baby is crying and is possibly going to kill everyone.
Right.
Because you're going to get captured. What do you do in that situation? Do you kill the baby? Like, do you cover the baby's mouth? Like, what do you do? That is a great military philosophical question that, you know, it ends up working out in the movie. But it's like the fact that they put that in the movie, I was like, okay, these people are like, they've been in the military. They understand the questions that a Navy SEAL commander would have to ask himself doing a mission like this.
But what's up? But see, I honestly, I think in that particular part, I think you even have thought about it deeper than what at least they display. Because to me, I feel like they had already made their decision on the baby in the sense of like, if they hear her, we're gonna have to just shoot these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like that thought of should we kill the baby or not never even crossed my mind until you just said it. But that's a very, very good question. Like, yo, we could jug this little orphan, you know what I'm saying, to save the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? Because this baby don't belong to nobody. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be funny, but let's be real. This baby does not belong to anybody here. So the only thing that would really be bad about it is that you're killing a human being, let alone a child. But at the same time, if she don't shut up, then we all die.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or we have to get into this huge firefight, and you know, eventually it will.
But even with that firefight, more of those Africans would have died because they would have been way more close range. You know what I'm saying? Like they would have just started busting that whole section, and then only the soldiers with guns can shoot back. But by that time, it's a lot more people shot besides that one child. And I'm not suggesting killing the child. I'm just saying, but I get the back and forth in what you're saying. And I honestly wish they would have showed that even more in the movie, because that would have been even more interesting. I didn't even think about,
you know, they the whole, do. Like, if you ever see the movie Lone Survivor, they do have a very similar situation where they have to deal with the like kids that they captured,
whether they want to let them go or not.
And one of the guys is like, kill him, like we got to kill him and move on. You know, so that just shows you like the kind of things that being a Navy SEAL and those kind of that level of the military, you know, the things you kind of have to consider.
As far as going into morals, you know.
But hold on before you go to the morals. One last thing with Lonnie, they also pointed out was like the rules of engagement. They talk about that in this movie as well as in Lone Survivor, because they didn't want to kill those kids in Lone Survivor because of rules of engagement. They was like, you know, if somebody find out, like, we're gonna go to Fort Leavenworth, like we're gonna be in jail the rest of our lives. You know what I'm saying? But other people was just like, oh man, we could just leave these motherfuckers out here. Ain't nobody gonna know. And the same thing, not in the exact same way, but it came up again in Tears of the Sun when, you know, they asked what was the rules of engagement earlier. They said, you know, only shoot if you're being shot at, type thing, whatever like that. And then when they seen that whole little village where people was getting shot and raped and breasts cut off and stuff like that, he was like, man, what about the rules of engagement? He was like, man, we already engaged. Basically saying like the fact, once we came back and landed that helicopter, like, you know what I'm saying? We've already went past the orders. You know what I'm saying? Like we're already here. You know what I'm saying?
That scene with this, you know, the guy with the lighter, and that when they like go back and they go through the village, that scene was very, very well done.
Yeah.
You know, in the rain with the smoke coming off of the silencers, that shit was well done.
And it, because you would think, and to give that scene even more credit, Lonnie, you would think that like most movies would have, once they seen the terror or whatever, like from the helicopter view, you would think, okay, that made them turn around, so that was convincing enough. But like making them actually go into that village and then having to see the dead baby, see the breast cut, like, you know what I'm saying, that took it even further in saying like the people who we got here, there's no way we can definitely leave them now. Like seeing it from a distance made us come back. Now even seeing it even more up close, you know what I'm saying, it's just like, oh man. And it's happening for no reason. These people are not doing nothing wrong. Y'all, they just knocking them off.
I love that shot of the two of them like crawling up, and the camera like comes over the top of them, and then you kind of see how. Oh, I love that scene. That's one of my favorite shot of the whole movie.
Yeah, this movie was shot well, man. It was dope. Go ahead, DA, with your morals.
I was saying, as far as the morals, I see what you guys are saying, but I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like Jojo Rabbit hit it better on the head, if you would say that. If that
hit. What exactly did both of these movies hit on the head? That was the
you guys are
same.
talking about morals of of basically human life, leaving. Basically, they had to decide if they would either leave these people or save them and whatnot. And in Jojo Rabbit, he had to decide if he was gonna.
Yeah, but not to veer to Jojo Rabbit too prematurely, but like that's even a child who still has room for manipulation one way or the other. Like he's still kind of way more open than Navy SEALs who are trained to do what it is they do and then having to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not saying that one hit it on the head better than the other, but I'm just saying I don't think that you can say that or even compare it because like you said, these are not only grown men who are stuck in their ways, but they're military men. You know what I'm saying? Like who, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, like who were willing to lie to this woman just to get her on the, you know what I'm saying, on the air. Like he was like, hey, what did the commander say? Whatever, like what the fuck you think he said? You know what I'm saying? Like right. Get her on here no matter what. Like don't say these people we ain't got helicopters for that. You feel what I'm saying? So
right.
So yeah, so to me, I mean, I'm not like I said, I'm not trying to compare the two, but just to kind of dispute your point, I don't know if you can stand on that because to me, I felt like to me this was a human story that I guess was kind of like I had never seen it in an action war movie. You know what I'm saying? Jojo Rabbit is a good twist on its own. But that was just its own unique movie as a whole. For me, in the genre of action war movies, I had never seen this type of humanized story to lead, to drive the action or whatever.
And DA, like I think a thing to remember in Jojo Rabbit is he didn't I'm assuming the moral you're talking about is the part where he's trying to decide whether or not to turn in the girl. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I'm talking about. Yeah, yes, and no, but I feel like
you saying like because he eventually saw her as a human and not just the dirty Jew or whatever.
But
like
remember
that,
that even if he would have turned her in, he would have killed himself and his own mother because like he didn't have a choice. There wasn't really a choice the way that Tears of the Sun frames it as. Like, first of all, it's a split second. These are split second decisions that were being made under duress. Jojo Rabbit is also a great questions and great things, but I don't think it's quite the same of like a moral judgment of like, do I sacrifice myself? It wasn't really about that. It was quite a different question. Great questions, but I don't necessarily think it's like a moral thing the way that Tears of the Sun framed it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And remember, you're also dealing with a child, so it's
right.
It's a little different.
Right.
Well, like I said, I while I was watching Tears of the Sun, I will admit that I was engaged, but I was just like not fond of the story or fond of the message behind the story that I got from my first watch. So that's my first watch, and that's what my impressions were.
But you don't like black movies, so it's okay.
Right. I thought you would love this, that they're slaughtering black people left and right.
That's what you promote, right?
Just white people with machine guns in the jungle.
God damn it.
I thought that dude who did what you said your cousin did, Lonnie, that job. Yeah. I thought he did a very good job dying. He did a good dying scene.
Yeah. They all did. They all had very like spectacular deaths.
But you know what I'm saying? They let him kind of like do a little monologue on his way out. Like his was pretty like, and even with having that whole connection with saying like, are we there yet? Saying I guess we're there now, boss, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought that was pretty. Yeah, it was pretty magical death.
I feel like those moments, the moment of intimacy, if you would say, were drawn out to the max. I mean,
Okay, all right, DA. All right, enough.
Come on, he was sitting there.
Enough.
I mean, I get it. It's your teammate, your brother, and he dying or whatnot. But damn, die already.
I hope I don't die next to you. This nigga DA gonna be like, close your eyes, brother. I got to go.
It's also funny to me that in movies, like they still haven't figured out that like if you're in the middle of a gunfight, you can't talk to each other.
Right.
You can't hear shit.
It took the longest time to. I'm like, are they not still coming towards them? Are they just randomly stop firing? Oh, somebody died. Well, let's wait, guys. Let's wait. That's why I'm saying it was so drawn out. Instead of, all right, we sorry you died. We got your tags. Let's go.
I mean, DA, it's a movie. You know what I'm saying? These people are getting paid to die and be seen dying and have an emotional scene with Bruce Willis. These people want their face to be seen on screen, as they say.
The military.
I fought with you, boss.
Why? So some stuff can be real and some stuff can be fake. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's a movie.
No,
it's a movie. Most movies are fake because the whole scenario is created. Like it's a scenario that you can kind of pull realism from and say, oh, I can connect, but like if it can have something fake, you know what I'm saying? Like weird, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying a movie can have something fake in it.
There are some movies that keep reality in check.
So what you know, but I'm saying you've seen other military movies, but you don't know what the whole military uniform looks like. You don't know if something was altered. You don't. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't.
Speaking of reality, the other movie we watched, what is it? Full Metal Jacket.
Jesus Christ! No, The Hurt Locker.
Oh, The Hurt Locker. I'm sorry. The Hurt Locker. Was that not very real? Is it realistic?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but
they were grounded in reality in this moment.
Yeah, but at the same time, we don't know if it's realistic for him to stop somebody with a pistol who's speeding towards him in a car while he's walking towards the bomb. I mean, could that happen? Sure, but we don't know. We don't know. That's what I'm saying. They could have done it. They could have done it for the effects of the movie. What I'm saying is, every story in every movie, they're going to dramatize something because it is a movie. Just like Lonnie mentioned something earlier. I can't think of what it was, but like he was saying, like how it may not have. The 6 people against the 300. That's unrealistic. We already know that, but it's a movie though. That's what I'm saying. Like we can't cast 300 American soldiers and make them all important. Let's get 6 people.
Or
make them a team.
We're also not going to just show these 6 guys just get murdered in the first couple minutes of this engagement, which is most likely what would happen.
All I'm saying is it made no sense to. I definitely agree with Lonnie for them to stop in the middle of the.
It didn't. I understand, bro. That's just like. Listen to me. What fighting movie have you ever seen where all the people, this one person beating 300 people ass and all 300 people were swinging at the same time? There's just a bunch of niggas standing on the outside waiting their turn.
I don't know what's happening. You got it. Oh my gosh.
What's that microphone?
I did that.
Good movie.
All right. Moving right along. Dear, are you back with us?
Yes. I'm sorry.
All right.
You know
so
what?
That's all good.
It's actually good down here because you probably speak some bullshit. That's probably what that was God hearing with your bullshit.
the argument's over. You I don't even know what we were talking about. All right, Jojo Rabbit, 2019 film. Director, can somebody help me with his name? Is it
Taika Waititi?
There you go. Also starring him, Scarlett Johansson, and the kid is Roman Griffin Davis. And let's vote for this on the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. I'm not about a 6 or 7.
It's probably because you read the script, so you probably like, it wasn't as good as the script, as good as the read.
I'm not gonna say that. I will say I do think me reading the script gave me a different perspective on this movie than I ever have with any other movie that I've never there's never been another movie that I read the script first, I should say. Any movie that I've read the script for that exists, I had already seen the movie and then read it. So did it I definitely I think I mean it pretty much played out the way that I saw it in my head per se, but I just think like for me, I think the story was great. I think, all that. To me, I'm just gonna tell you my biggest problem, which is why I gave it like a 7. It's not so much 6, maybe like a 7. To me, and I didn't do any research, so I don't know if this is factual or whatever. This is just how it came off. I felt like I was watching a bunch of Americans try to portray to be Jews and Germans. That's what I felt like. That's and I felt like it almost felt like I was watching the Walt Disney version of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought the movie was very entertaining, very funny. I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying even the look of it, I felt like I was watching. Y'all ever seen the live action version of Beauty and the Beast? Yeah, it kind of reminded me like of that. You know what I'm saying? Like a real world, but still very staged, costumish, whatever. And I'm not saying they wasn't going for that. But so what I'm saying is all of that was fine. I'm not arguing that, but I'm saying, but on top of that, then it like I said, just the accents and just the the whatever, like but I don't really know who's from where in the movie. That's what I'm saying. I didn't research. I don't know. I'm not pinning. I'm not saying this is what it is. This is just how it came off. Like, and I felt like while I was watching it the whole time, and it wasn't every single person, but just majority of the people, I was just thinking to myself, like, I really wish they would have just casted people from the places that these people are supposed to be from, as opposed to America or wherever these people came from. And then my last thing I would say is I think that the writing for the kids, and even more particular Jojo, I think was better than the performance. And what I mean by that is not that he had a bad performance, but I just think he was a very articulate kid. But I felt like there's probably another kid out there who could have nailed the humor of Jojo a little more. Because I really love child actors. Really, really like a good child actor, like the last movie with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Pet Sematary, whatever. Like, I really, really like really good child actors, whatever. And one movie I remember watching fairly recently that I love, even love now, but I didn't realize there was so many bad child actors, is The Little Rascals. Little Rascals is full of terrible actors. I didn't realize it back in the day, but it's still a great movie, great story, whatever. So they're not on Little Rascals level. I'm not saying that, but to me, I felt like the kid who played Jojo could speak very well. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could articulate everything, but I feel like the way it was written, I think what he was saying to me kind of came off more entertaining or whatever than how he performed I guess the subtext with his body, if you will, of what he was saying, if that makes any sense. But other than that, I thought this was a great movie. I mean, very interesting take. Very, you know what I'm saying? I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it at all, but those are just my little discrepancies.
I actually thought that his acting was great. I didn't have, I also have a lot of problems with child actors. Like, I think that they suck a lot. Right. But I thought that the acting in this movie, Jojo, of course, was great, but the fucking fat friend was like, oh my God, he was so good. Yeah. He only has a couple scenes in the movie, but every scene he's in, he murders. Like, he's so good and cute.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, but he fit that character. You feel what I'm saying? Like, to me, even his look and everything, how he delivered the lines fit what they were trying to deliver in that Yorkie character. But go ahead.
You talk about this movie being a Beauty and the Beast thing, like it's like a little cartoonish, a little staged. But I think that's kind of the point of the film, because it's through the eyes of this 10-year-old boy. For sure. Wrapped up in the like fairy tale of Nazi Germany, right? Nazi Germany. So that, to me, I love the scene. There's a very distinct moment when
to be clear, Lonnie, I wasn't saying I disliked that part.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I like that. Like, that part of the film was something that I enjoyed, especially you know, a big, you know, spoiler, you know, is right after, you know, you see the mother hanging, then they show the houses that look like faces,
the eyes, looking up,
which to me implies that in all of those homes you have another Jew who's hiding in the attic,
who saw that type of thing,
that's seeing all that happen,
right?
And
pause me on there real quick, Lonnie. Let me ask you a question. Do you think, and this is one thing that may have thrown me off because I had already read the script and knew that she was going to be hung, do you think they forced us knowing what her shoes look like too much? Like, after
no, I really enjoy that whole part of, like, you know, of all of the things of, like, first of all, the symbolism of him being able to not being able to tie his shoes, and then at the end of the movie he's able to do it, and you know how that represents his maturity and his growth, and you know, I really love that.
But I'm saying her shoes, like they kept showing like her feet dancing, whatever. Like, but symbolic. To me, I felt like the first time they did it, I got it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm asking only because I read the script, so I already knew. So that's what I'm saying. That may have thrown off my perception. So I'm asking for somebody who watched it.
Do you remember how pissed I got at DA when he like gave away the like mom's hanging thing? I was like,
right.
Gave away that's the whole part of the film.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely think that you, having read the script, like it didn't hit you the way, you know, especially because you don't know what's going to happen. Like the part with the butterfly. You're like, is he going to get hit by a car? Like something bad is about to happen here. And then just to have that scene, which they've been floating to you, right? They've been foreshadowing. They've been showing you her shoes. And you're like, why are they focusing on her shoes? Right. Like, what is that?
Right.
You know, I don't know if I've told you this before, but like World War II, at one point in my life, I wanted to be a World War II historian. Like I am very fascinated with most things World War II. I've been to Normandy Beach. I've been to Auschwitz. I've actually been to, you know, the worst concentration camp that there ever was. So, you know, this movie, I've seen every World War II movie you can possibly imagine. This movie is one of my favorite movies of all time because it takes this thing that a lot of Americans are caught up in. And I say that from just personal experience. Like I was the 10-year-old Jojo Rabbit. Like I was that version of an American kid, which I think is why this movie is so powerful, because it shows you that like Nazi children and American children and British children, it's the same energy, you know, it's the same
for sure 100%
that we all vibe on, like all 100%. This patriotism thing and idolizing Adolf Hitler or idolizing Franklin Roosevelt, whatever. You know, it all is born from the same energy.
For sure.
And then just to have that be the through line, for me personally, makes this one of my favorite films. For sure. And then just to have, you guys probably don't care or notice, but the costumes and the like uniforms, 100% perfect. Hitler's uniforms, as he's moving throughout the film, as they change, are Hitler's uniforms that are changed, that he wore in different periods of the war, especially at the end. That was the uniform he wore in his last appearance when he has the bullet hole in his head. That was the uniform that he wore the last time anybody ever saw him publicly. So, you know, and then for them to be like, yeah, we know that we have the uniforms perfect, so we're going to fuck with you. And we're going to have Sam Rockwell in eye makeup and a dress and the long flowy cape and the boots. Sam Rockwell, I love him. This is probably one of his best performances. Rebel Wilson, even you know, Theon from Game of Thrones, Alfie Allen. He has like 2 lines in the whole movie, but he is so good. I love the Gestapo scene. You know, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler.
Yeah, that was hilarious. The fucking that guy who was casted as that lead detective or whatever. Yeah. I mean, he was perfect. He had the perfect. He had the perfect like intimidation, creepy, but also like he doesn't look like a monster, but he also looks like, you know, like very tall. You know what I'm saying? Like it was casted very well, very, very well.
And then, you know, the whole like the real shining light of the movie is that Sam Rockwell is actually helping him the whole time. That like he's actually, you know, a good guy. The only reason he's there, I don't know if you guys put this together. The only reason he comes to the, you know, to Jojo's house is because he saw the mom hanging. So he runs to go help Jojo.
I thought he was actually helping the
mom. Huh? Yeah, he probably was.
I thought so. My impression was the fact that he was actually helping the mom, and he saw him go inside, and he was like, "Okay, we have to come here and help Jojo."
Sure. You know, another thing about just the last thing that I'll mention really is, you know, Jojo, Sam Rockwell's character at the end. Part of his uniform was he wore a pink triangle on his jersey. That is what, you know. So they made the Jews wear stars. You know, the Nazis made the Jews wear the yellow stars. The Nazis made gay people wear the pink triangle. Right. So that was like another little like, you know, he's obviously gay and ends up sacrificing himself. So that was just another little touch for like people like me who are going to notice something like that. I think they really did this movie well. You know, the only part of the movie that doesn't make sense, but I understand that they had to do it for the plot, was that, you know, no city was ever invaded by the Americans and the Russians at the same time. So they did have to like use that for the plot, because they had to have the Nazis get machine gunned at the end, and the Americans weren't really doing that. But, you know, the Soviets obviously were. So I understand they had to do that for the plot device. But yeah, I mean, this movie is, like I said, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Rudy, the question from earlier about if they put too much emphasis on the shoes. When I watched it the first time, was when it first came out. I did not know the shoes at all. I didn't like. It wasn't really. It wasn't really in my face. But this time watching it, I guess the fact that now I know that, oh, those are the shoes she dies in. I felt like they were hitting it like a lot on the head. Like, okay, a lot of foreshadowing. I think the first foreshadow of him seeing her feet was good, and then they just put a lot more emphasis on it. So I do kind of agree with that. But I chose this movie, and I personally, like I said, I love this movie. I thought it was a fun take on the whole, like we've been saying the whole time, the whole German experience, because this made the perspective of, because in my head I'm like, I always had this idea or this thought, you know, how do bad people know they're bad? You know, because in their eyes they're like, I'm doing the right thing. And so people in Germany, and when the World War II was going on, they were probably like, this is right. There's nothing wrong with this. Everyone else is wrong. You guys are not seeing the big picture. And so the fact that they took this little boy perspective, whose mind can be changed and formed and whatnot, and they go to camp and basically brainwash him with, oh, the Jews are devils, they have horns, and whatever else they were saying, basically brainwashing them. And then the fact that this fanatic, this Nazi fanatic, found a Jew in his house that puts him in a bad situation where he's at conflict with what he knows and what he's seeing. So I really, like I said, I really love that. But since we all agree on this, I don't think we don't need to spend that much time on it.
Well, damn, you just gonna make us stop talking because you don't want to talk about your movie no more? Like,
oh, I'm sorry.
What if I had something else to say? I mean,
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
What I was thinking is, you know, we're not really debating about anything, so it's like, you know,
we can still congratulate the movie. Jesus Christ. I mean, it was. Hey, if we ain't shitting on it, move on. All right. If ain't nobody shitting on the movie, move on. Lord have mercy.
I didn't want to prolong the.
But we're not. I mean, but we've also brought up discrepancies, like how we felt about the shoes, and just, you know, how I felt about like everybody's, you know, mouths being open and talking. You know what I'm saying? I just was a little You know what I'm saying? It just bothered me. I felt like, you know, like, and I think I was mentioning the whole like Beauty and the Beast stage or whatever like that because I felt like their accents played. It made me wonder, was that intentional as well? You know what I'm saying? Like to make this whole thing just be this whole, you know, I don't know what you call it, false reality or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But just you know, I didn't know if that played into it more because obviously I know, or at least I'm assuming, you know, Scarlett Johansson's American. I've, you know, seen her, I guess, in other movies talk American, but or you know, so but either way, so I just kind of felt like maybe it was just more of, I know like Rebel Wilson, you know, is English or whatever, but
I think the only Americans in this movie are Sam Rockwell and Scarlett Johansson, but I think everybody else is either like English or Australian or, you know, Taika Waititi's from New Zealand, but I don't think this movie is very American. It didn't really have much of an American thing.
But when I say Americans, I'm just basically saying like a bunch of people who are not either Jewish or German. You know what I'm saying? Right? Or yeah, or whatever the breakdown is. I apologize, but it just didn't seem like, you know, it almost is, and I'm not. This is kind of a drastic comparison, but you know, kind of like with even though he's American, like with, if you ever seen Stella Got His Groove Back, you know, he got her groove back, whatever like that. Like Tay Diggs, his accent is horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so it just kind of felt like that. But nonetheless, it didn't throw me off that bad. Like I said, I mean, the performance and stuff were still, you know, good. It was something else I was gonna say before DA got mad.
Okay, I did have a question though. How did you guys feel about, you know, them making them, I don't know, them making us laugh at, you know, Hitler, you know, the whole character. How did you guys feel about that? Because I thought making him, you know, like his morals, his ideas in that child perspective was very funny. It was a funny take on it. You know, him, especially at the end where he was like, "At least hail me," you know, a small hill. You know, I thought,
right, but to your point, they were making you laugh at him, not with him. It's like they didn't make him look good in any light. You know what I'm saying? He was always like an idiot or scared or, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I thought it was great, especially that being his, you know, conscience or whatever, or that's, you know, his little whatever. I mean, I thought that was a very, very unique and important, you know, aspect to add to JoJo's, the way he thinks, you know, because he's a very, you know, curious young boy. Like, that's why the mom didn't want him to find out about the girl, because he knew if he knew that he would get curious and do everything that he did when he found out, his mom knew that was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But she just didn't know that he knew, which ultimately ended up in, you know, her demise, because she could have just went ahead and got rid of the girl or whatever and then just made whatever move. But she was still in the dark about it. So, you know, it got her caught slipping or whatever. But at the same time, with as harsh of a twist of him having to lose his mother, like that's what kind of helped him even, you know, break that, just say the Nazi spell that was, you know, that was over him, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And then even the head guy who, you know, who knew his mother and, you know, who which was a very traumatic but funny scene when he stole, you know, the guy who he stole the grenade out of his hand and threw it or whatever. You know, that guy had he was in a good position to have a lot of sympathy for JoJo, because he knew JoJo lost his mom and he's like low-key responsible for this man, you know, face being halfway blown off. You know what I'm saying? So like, even with however he felt, you know what I'm saying, like he had reasons to go ahead and like and help him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that what you know, having that sympathy character, especially for whatever, you know what I'm saying, even all the way down to the end, snatching the jacket off or whatever, like, you know what I'm saying, like all of that, to me, I don't know, it just made out for a good story. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, you know, the full shebang when it come down to how the whole war ended, whatever like that. But to use his perspective, to use, you know, him, you know, falling in love with the, you know, the Jew girl and the, you know, just the everything like that, writing the fake letters, using comedy throughout it, because it had a lot of silliness throughout this entire movie. You know what I'm saying? A lot of silliness. So yeah, man, I thought it was good.
I mean, to answer your question, DA, you know, just like, I think the whole point of this movie was to frame Hitler in a way that no real, like, I'm sure that like other there might have been some other works that have depicted him this way, but to show him as a like basically as a celebrity who all he wants is attention and love of the people that support him. I don't think we've ever seen that happen in a movie that I can remember, to show him, you know, the opening sequence of having him like come out to Beatles music, and then having all the like Nazis look like Beatles fans that are like going crazy when he comes up, and like that.
I like how they changed the language and the words too.
To German. Yeah, I mean, that to me was so powerful. And then to show him, you know, the scene where he's like doing the Hitler speech to Jojo, and he's like using intimidation and fear to get Jojo on his side, and then he starts to notice that it's not really working anymore, so he starts to go crazier and crazier until the end, where he's literally begging Jojo to heil him, like, please, just like one more, which is like such a great ballsy way of using Hitler. So like, you know, Dia, you asked like, do I mind really that we're like kind of taking Hitler lightly? No, I don't mind. I think it's braver to do that than it would be to just show Hitler as, you know, another dictator movie, which we've seen 100 times. You know, Inglourious Basterds shows that, right? There's that scene where he's like, no, 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 where he's like freaking out because he's afraid of the you know, the Inglourious Basterds. Right. So we see this like side of Hitler, which now, you know, history has shown us that we know these things about Hitler, that he was very like insecure and very like, you know, emotional, and not what he portrayed at all. And to show, you know, one of the best scenes of the movie to me is where Jojo Rabbit is like, I think he's like gluing something on the door, and the truck goes by, and you see the older kid making fun of him. Right. And he's like, ha ha, you're a post boy. I'm going off to war. And it's like, that's who's fighting. Right. It's children who have been brainwashed by Hitler, the same thing. They're just like 6 years older, 7 years older, 30 years older. It's the same thing. So to me, it was just great. And then, you know, you have that the thing coming back, right, where he's on the bike, and you see the soldiers coming home. So they've been to the war, and they're not happy anymore. They're not children. Now they're men who are coming back. Right. Oh man, this movie, to me, it's like everything it tried to do, not only did it do, but it did it in a way that has never been done before. This is like one of my most perfect movies. I don't think there could have been anything they did better than the way that this movie finally came out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Last question: Do you guys think he is the reason his mom died?
No.
I mean, I think she just kind of made a sacrifice, in my opinion. I mean, because
she was a member of the resistance. She was like passing notes. She was passing letters. The Gestapo was obviously like onto her. You know, they came to her house.
It was just bigger than just the girl. Like she was.
Oh, for sure. She was a member of the resistance. She was like passing things to his father, who had like deserted from the military. Like she was a part of this whole big network of things. So no, it didn't have anything to do with him.
Yeah. All right. Because like I said, to especially when he helped him with the whole like birthday thing, like they really escaped that whole thing. Like it wasn't you know, oh, okay, we're just gonna kill her now that we suspect. Like no, they really, you know, were fooled. You know, but the one dude did help him out. But to Lonnie's point, I think because he already had seen the mom, and that's why he showed up or whatever. And even maybe to the degree, even if he didn't see the mom at the time, he still had the sympathy, even just from, you know, getting JoJo's face blown off. So,
but I think he was definitely a part of the whole resistance as well. Like he even says a part of the movie where they like took away his unit because there was a totally avoidable incident that like ended up getting all of his people killed and he lost his eye or whatever. It was like, it was so good, to show him be disillusioned like that. It was great and so true to what was actually happening in Germany at that time. Like like if you guys don't know the context of like the whole war, this movie showed you from that point of view what was happening in a way that has never been done before. Like all of that is real. Like all of that stuff happened. Like having little kids take grenades on them and like run to go hug a soldier. All of that happened. Old men, young kids, like having to defend Germany. That was all real.
Right. The biggest thing about this is I was watching this show called The Crown, and I did not realize, or I did not pay attention to it at first, that both world wars were like 20, 30 years apart. They weren't that, so people have seen both. Right?
Yep.
Which is the bizarrest thing.
Sure.
All right, man. Well, let's move it down to our last and final movie, The Hurt Locker 2008 film. Director Catherine Bigelow, starring Jeremy Renner, Anthony Mackie, and a host of others. Let's give our votes and let's talk about it. On the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. Great movie. All right, cool.
So good.
Yeah, so to your point of earlier, DA, about like the whole army thing, and Lonnie, I don't know if this is why you wanted me to see this particular movie or not, but so the thing I would definitely say I appreciated the most about this film, and it's really because of the opposite. Granted, I never went to combat or nothing like that, but I had some really shitty leadership when I was in the military. Not every single person who's ever been over me, but a good majority of them. And that's from because I was a specialist. I came in as a specialist because I had a degree and never wanted to get promoted, so I left as a specialist. And that's E4, right below a sergeant, for anybody who doesn't know. And so basically in this movie, they had a specialist at E4. They had Anthony Mackie was an E5, he was a sergeant, and then their original leader was an E6, which was a staff sergeant, but Jeremy Renner was a sergeant first class, which is E7. So from E5, E6, E7, all the way up to E8, first sergeant, whatever, I've had shitty leadership. So to see them use the balance of this wild card, if you will, you know what I'm saying? This wild guy, this guy who just seems like he doesn't even think, you know what I'm saying? He just does stuff, you know what I'm saying? But for him to be such a like leader, you know what I'm saying, with the Capri Sun thing, with the everything, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just very, very, like he always made sure, like, you know what I'm saying, like his people's was good, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he also had this, I guess, low-key, like not give a fuck attitude. So combining those two together, even once you see like towards the end of the movie when he's like interacting with his family, whatever like that, this guy reminded me of people who I met. Jeremy Renner's character reminded me of people who I've met in the army who they're almost like, and I don't mean necessarily like skill set wise, but they're almost like the LeBron James or Michael Jordan of the military. What I mean by that is like they couldn't see themselves doing anything else but this. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just who they are. This is what they were born to do, type of thing. And that's what his character reminded me of. Like he literally never worried about dying and stuff like that because he already knew, like, I'm in the way. What's the unit? I can't think of what it's called. The EOD or whatever. EOD. They literally that all you do is you're disarming bombs. That's it. So what's the point of being afraid? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna take this gear off. Like if I'm gonna die, I might as well be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like all those different things really hit home with me in reference to just people who are personnel who I've came across in the military who I may not necessarily been underneath as far as like them being my leadership, but like they really maintain that. So like that him as a soldier in a movie to me was probably one of the more like real ones. Like he wasn't just like this action star badass. Like he was literally, you know what I'm saying? Like this could have almost been like based on a true story type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Him reenacting a real person type of thing. So for me, I really respected the movie for that. I thought they had some real good moments, allowing scenes to just ride out. You know, when they're in the desert and they're the whole sniper scene, whatever like that. Like not just hitting them back to back, like shooting, seeing that okay, it's bouncing off the wall. You got to go up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, I never did that at a person, but I've been to the range where that same person is sitting there looking at your target and helping you adjust, whatever like that. So to me, it almost showed like the all the training in action type of thing, as opposed to this is an action movie. You know what I'm saying? Right. It was more or less like
it's like the opposite of Tears of the Sun.
Right, exactly. This is more or less like it was a pull the curtain back. This was a very pull the curtain back type of movie.
Which is what the war in Iraq was like. You know, the war in Iraq was very similar to this. You know, Catherine Bigelow, she also directed Zero Dark 30, which is a true story. But this movie is definitely, it's not a true story of itself, but it definitely pulls from like stories that have happened and like, the sniper scene. I'll tell you my favorite bit of this movie, my favorite through line is the counter of like days left on deployment. Right. So it starts off, days left. It's like 100 and something. And for Anthony Mackie and the other white guy, they cannot wait for it to end. And for him, it's the opposite. And then when you realize that at the end, when it resets,
right. 65.
I was like, that's why this movie won the Oscar, because for him, there's a thing in the beginning. It shows that some people are.
Oh, this one for Best Picture.
Yeah, this movie won Best Picture. So the thing in the beginning that says that some people are addicted to war. Some people are addicted. So Rudy said the thing where he's like, he's not scared. He's not only is he not scared, he loves the adrenaline of diffusing bombs. And you see that in the part where his new colonel comes in and he's like, how many bombs have you diffused? And he's like, I don't know, a couple. And he's like, stop bullshitting me. He's like, 762, and he's got little things from all of them. I love, the sniper scene is so like well done to show you just like hours and hours and hours of waiting and not knowing. And like, do you want to check? Well, no, because if you go to check, you might blow your fucking head off. You saw what he did to these SAS guys. He made them look stupid. So,
right. Can I stop you for 1 second? One important part about that scene with the whole sniper thing was when Jeremy Renner gave Anthony Mackie his Capri Sun or whatever, so he could get the sugar in his body, get the energy, whatever, right? The most valuable part about that scene was when they showed the specialist chilling, drinking his own Capri Sun by himself. Because when I tell you that literally is the different mindset levels of how, when it goes up the rankings of how people think when you're in the military, but even in the position of leadership. Like, I'm the specialist, so like, what I'm saying, oh, we do got more Capri Suns. Let me just, I'm not worried about like, because he's not sitting there, he's not even really like feeling as weak as them. Like they struggling to keep their head up, look through the scope, whatever. Like he just back there, like, and granted, he made a good move shooting the dude or whatever, so he wasn't like completely out of it. But his decision making, like he never thought to say, hey, was that one enough for both of y'all? You know what I'm saying? Do somebody need some of this? Because he's the young specialist, and that's a real depiction of how specialists are known to think, because they have this little bit of leadership because they're over every private, first class, second class, whatever, but they're not at the sergeant level because they're not thinking of everybody yet. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was a very, very valuable moment that they put in there. It was very, very genuine.
And you're also seeing like Jeremy Renner having to balance his need for adrenaline with being a sergeant. Like he ends up getting that guy shot, right? Because he's like, he chases the guy through the neighborhood and the guys are like behind him and he's not paying attention really to like the men that are following him. And he ends up getting him shot. And the guy says, he's like, I got shot because of you, you motherfucker. Like, you know, that's why this movie is so great to me, because he's not the like perfect leader. He's not the like, you know, the worst leader either. But the, you know, the scene at one point where he's like, oh, I forgot my gloves, I'm gonna go back down. And they're like, they're talking about murdering
blowing him up. Right.
You know, they're talking about like, should we just kill him?
Right.
Which, you know, I'm sure, Rudy, you've heard about that happening for real, big time, and especially in Vietnam. It was called fragging. They just throw a frag grenade in their, you know, in their leaders' bunk, because he was trying to like
more soldiers die from friendly fire or something like that than are reported because of stuff like that.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot, especially in, you know, in Vietnam, you had a lot of leaders that were like, you know, chasing medals and chasing glory, that they would send their men to die, and they would get killed for it. You know, this movie is like, it's so real while also being entertaining and tense. And like, you know, again, that part of me where you're like, the whole movie, you're watching this ticker go down and you're like, oh, soon they're going to be like out of it. You know, one thing my dad always used to tell me, I'd tell him that I wanted to join the army. And he would be like, dude, just do, if you're going to join the army, please do something that when you get out of the army, you can go to fucking work.
Right.
You know, there's this
somebody
scene
told me the same thing. In
the Pacific. Do you guys know the Pacific? It was like they made Band of Brothers and then they made the Pacific. And there's this scene in the Pacific where after fighting in the Marines and you know, in the Pacific and like Iwo Jima and Peleliu and all these places, this guy goes back to the world and he's at a job center. And the lady is like, okay, so what are your skills? Do you know how to type? Do you know how to and he's like, listen, lady. She's like, but you were in the Marines for 4 years. Didn't they teach you how to do anything? He's like, they taught me how to kill the Japanese.
Right.
And I'm fucking good at it.
Right.
You know, that's that mentality. Like, what is this guy going to do when he comes back? Is he going to work for SWAT and like disassemble bombs? Maybe, you know, maybe that is a job he can do. But like, no, he's not going to ever feel the way he feels when he's in Afghanistan or Iraq doing the thing. You know, they showed the subtle thing that he was a ranger before. So he was like in shit. And now, you know, that was a very subtle thing for like guys like Rudy and for me that notice stuff like that. So, you know, I love this movie. I feel like this movie, it does a lot of things. It like pulls the curtain back for people that never experience stuff like that. And, you know, it's like, it can appeal to somebody like DA who has very little exposure, somebody like me who like knows a lot, but has never been. And then somebody like Rudy who is in it. Like you've seen these people play out in real life, you know?
For sure.
I really enjoyed the movie. I actually seen it before, and so just rewatching it just gave me rewatching it now, because I watched it when I was younger. So rewatching it now, I have a whole different perspective on it. I'm like, wow, this is fucking amazing.
Right.
And you, the whole time I'm watching it, you actually see this relationship develop. You know. Regardless of their differences, they had each other's back, and I think that was one of the most important things. And Shania, when we were watching it, Shania was like, you know, the scene right after the sniping incident, the scene right after it is they pretty much fight. You know, they have their fight. They're getting drunk and whatnot because you know they escaped death. And so that whole, she was like, boys are so stupid. Why are they punching each other? I'm like, you know, instead of being like girls where we just you know, where we're petty and bitch, you know, we'll just fight.
It's just testosterone, man.
Yeah,
it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's
we'll just fight and get it over with. It was just fighting.
But I'm saying, even when you're a little boy, you wrestle or whatever, it's just testosterone. It's just in you. It's just what guys do.
It's just what guys do. And I'm trying to get her to understand that, you know, it's like, because that's just, that really was just them bonding. And so
yeah, and it's a macho thing. It's kind of bragging rights. I remember that time we wrestled, we was drunk. I beat your ass. You know what I'm saying?
right.
We can do it again. We can do it again next time. You know what I'm saying? It's
They're
almost like
also in
a video game.
The highest stakes that a human being could possibly be in, and they're like wound up as hard as a human being can possibly be wound up. They have to have their like
some sort of release. Right. And so I really felt like this movie really one it did a great job with the tension, because every time he was going to a bomb, I'm like, all right, this one's going to blow up. And because like I said, I watched it before. I didn't remember everything about it, but I did know that that guy, the suicide bomber, was going to blow up. But I did not remember the result. And so I'm like thinking, he's like, all right, 45 seconds, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And he's still over there. I'm like, damn, he's about to die. This man about to die.
He was like, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I can hit too many locks.
Right. Another thing, and then two, I kid you not, the B story in this movie was phenomenal. The B story is his relationship with the kid.
Yeah.
That was so, that was beautiful. Because he found the kid, and they were putting a bomb in him and whatnot, and then he went as far as to try to go to the kid's house. And this is the one thing I really love about war movies, is the fact that they show the people who are the toughest or the strongest or the leaders who have to basically show no mercy, no fear, no nothing. They show them having their moments of I'm human too, I have to cry too. I think I don't know if you guys ever seen it, but Fury did a great job of doing it, and so did
Yeah. No, this was I enjoyed it. Like my first time seeing it. I had never even heard of it prior to Lonnie suggesting it. So this was a good pick. It was dope. I mean, we got pretty much 3 movies that we all like. So it wasn't that combative, but they were good movies though. Like I said, Tears of the Sun I had already seen, and Jojo Rabbit and Hurt Locker were good first watches. So dope shit. Congrats to all of you guys. All right, cool, man. Let's do these numbers. It's just you two. So you got both you guys sitting back getting ready. Twisting your shit up. All right, so we'll go in reverse order. Starting with the Hurt Locker. What do you think the budget was for that 2008 film?
50. Oh wait, they probably got no. Hold on, they probably got DOD to let them use their tanks and shit.
I want to say 120.
No, 50. I'll stay with 50.
You want 120?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you both were way over. The budget for this movie was actually only $11 million.
Yeah, because the government lets you use their stuff. Like the government will let you use tanks and equipment. So all of that is basically free.
Right. And I'm pretty sure I could see it for 11 because they didn't. Like they pretty much on location, you know what I'm saying? So like you go to the desert, you go to the setup or whatever, but that's not that hard, you know what I'm saying? That's not that expensive. Right. Yeah, they
I mean, they probably shot this in Nevada. You know what I mean? They probably didn't have to go very far.
What? But yeah, right. But yeah, what I'm saying, they could just set it up there, and it's probably just a lot cheaper than
Right, and then no huge names like Guy Pearce is in it for a little bit, and Ray Fiennes is also in it for like one scene, but everybody else was like pretty low key. Jeremy Renner became famous after this movie.
Right.
Yeah, I realize that now because there was this movie with Jamie Foxx.
Jarhead.
No, was it? No, I don't think it was Jarhead. I'm not sure what it was, but they actually filmed a scene by my church in Arizona. So, but it was supposed to be in like the Midwest, the Middle East. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So Which I think
are
the
you
box
talking
office
about The
was.
Kingdom?
The Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my dude, I love that movie. That shit is so good.
Yeah, they filmed I don't know what scene it was, but because I wasn't there at the time, I was in school, and they came out. Jamie Foxx filmed it and everything. It was pretty cool.
Have you seen that, Rudy?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
so good.
Never heard of it.
You can actually see my church in the background. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Box office for the Hurt Locker.
120.
120.
Oh, Academy Award winner, 180.
180.
I'm gonna go. I want to say like 3, but I'm gonna go with 250.
250. Once again, both you guys way over. It made 49.2.
What the fuck? Wow, way off.
Was it like a limited release or something?
No.
No, this was this won Best Picture, so it probably had a re-release.
Yeah, that's why I'm assuming that they made a lot of money, especially with it being about war at that time.
You know, I also it's you got to remember this was 2008, so people were pissed about like Iraq and Afghanistan at that point. So maybe people were like, "Eh."
For sure. All right, Jojo Rabbit. Budget for Jojo Rabbit.
15.
15
was all costumes, really, and some special effects. Not much though.
I'm going with about 40.
15. I was double checking the Hurt Locker. Yeah, it's still 49. You said 15 and 40?
Yeah.
Was it 2 guesses? Lonnie's closest. It's 14 million for the budget for Jojo Rabbit. 14 million. And then what do you?
Johansson had some weight to her name.
Yeah, but I think she did this movie for pretty cheap. She was in another movie too that she was nominated for 2 Academy Awards. This one,
Marriage Story.
Yeah, so this one for Best Supporting, and then the other one for Best Actress, which is crazy. Same year.
And doing Avengers. She's busy.
All right, box office.
100.
100.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with
70. Well, I guess so. Lonnie is closest, but DA is closest without going over, if that makes sense. Because it was 90.3 million. So Lonnie was technically closer, but DA didn't go over. And then tier
by default.
You could have said $1 and still won. Tears of the Sun, 2003.
This was a big budget action film, so 65.
65.
I didn't think it was going to be that high. I was thinking more on the 20.
It's not like they could have filmed this one in America,
No, they was in some jungle somewhere. They was somewhere. Yeah, they was outside for sure.
Explosions and fucking set pieces, and this was a big movie.
Well, taking that into consideration, then I'll change what I was going to say. I'll just pick what 100. Probably
100.
You know what? What did Lonnie say?
65.
I'll go with 40.
Jesus Christ. All that. Okay. So it actually was 70 million for the budget. So Lonnie got that one. And then what do you think it made in the box office?
I saw this movie twice in the theaters. So
120. No, wait. How much was it?
70.
Okay. 160.
I'll say 140.
All right. Both you guys a little high, but Lonnie was the closest. It actually only made 86.5.
Yeah.
In the box office. Only made 86.5.
Wasn't Bruce Willis hot at the time?
No.
No?
Bruce Willis's like career, like big name Bruce Willis was like late 80s Die Hard to maybe like The Sixth Sense, but that was pretty much it for him.
You know what?
Sixth Sense is a phenomenal movie.
I'm gonna try to call him. Hey, Bruce.
Sixth Sense is a phenomenal movie. Cool, man. Yeah, man. So dope films. So we got one more week, guys, before I guess the Christmas holidays, if you will.
Hiatus.
A hiatus. So I was thinking we maybe go something on Disney Plus. I was thinking, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be a Disney movie. It could be Star Wars or whatever, Marvel, 20th Century, Fox, whatever they got.
Maybe Shania
or Gotcha.
She was dying to get something from Disney.
Gotcha. Well, either way, man. Lonnie Cox, you got your sign with you? There you go.
Of course, bro. Who do you think you're dealing with?
There you go. Cox Comedy for him. RudyComedy.com for me. Daryl.
I'm gonna actually change mine to NASA. No, I'm joking.
Jesus.
A_Henry. Yeah, that's it for me.
How we looking on the Redlands? Still moving forward?
Well, I got denied from Michael J. White, so it broke my heart. Not him personally, his agent.
Is it Jay White or is it Jai White? Did we ever figure it out?
Is that Spawn?
Yeah, the same guy from Why Did I Get Married that we just seen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going to hit up another actor I wanted, and he actually has
Brandon T. Jackson. No, I'm just kidding.
And he actually has his own production company, which I'm hoping he will maybe invest in the movie if he comes on board.
Gotcha. No doubt, man. Good luck to you on that, brother. Other than that, man, we appreciate you guys watching. We're here every single Thursday. No Life Boys Production YouTube channel. And like I said, one more episode, and then it'll be the Christmas hiatus. And then we'll see you guys January. I was about to say January. I was thinking of 2020 and January at the same time, but I said January. January 2021 is what I'm trying to say. We'll be back. So see you next week, and then after that, 2021. Peace out.